Hello, and welcome to episode 199 of the Planet Destiny podcast. We got a special episode for you guys this week, as you guys are going to see two new faces. But as soon as you hear them talk, I'm sure you'll recognize them from over our YouTube channel. Starting off, we have Mr. Jarv. How you doing, bud?
I'm good.
Good. Thanks for joining us, man. You've been a part of the team for a bit, so it's nice to have you here on the show finally.
Yeah, it's been over a year now, but I've been hiding away on YouTube. I say hiding away, but I've been playing my trade over there. It's been good fun.
Nice. And one of our more recent content creators over on the YouTube side, Mr. Critbuff. How you doing, bud?
I'm well. How are all of you?
Good, man. Thank you for coming on. I know it's probably a really weird time for you right now. What time is it over there in Korea?
Yes, in South Korea, it is currently 8:05. So I am playing hooky, not really, from work. I'm in that, as I mentioned before the podcast, I apologize for the sound of the airplanes taking off, or helicopters. There's an airfield like so many meters that way, and here's my barracks, here's the fence separating my base from the rest of Korea, and here is a farm. So middle of nowhere Korea, yeah. But I'm kind of a free-range chicken, as my boss describes me right now. I'm in that weird position where I'm about to leave this current duty assignment. I've already been replaced, and I'm about the same rank as my boss, so my time is
nice.
my own. Yeah,
good stuff.
Very cool. And Dan!
He said duty.
And the 5 o'clock shadow.
He said duty.
He did say duty.
Duty.
We're 5-year-olds. Excellent. All right.
That's a good way to start the show. Oh, man. All right. We had the week in Destiny.
We did.
It's been a good one, man.
We had the release of a old weapon that I personally wasn't expecting to come back to the game. Out of all of the exotics from Destiny 1, this was probably like on the lowest part of the list that I would see returning, but we got Outbreak Prime, otherwise known as Outbreak Perfected, back in the world of Destiny, and man, it a insanely powerful weapon.
It's beautiful.
Stability bar is a lie. The stability bar is an outright lie.
That thing is a laser beam of nanites.
Yeah, man. Totally unexpected. 100%.
Yeah, it was. Go for it.
Weren't we all thinking like maybe Rose or something? Like that was one of
I think that's what when people saw the kinetic weapon that was like classified. I think that was another hand cannon was a thought, but when it came out, it was a pulse rifle. Yeah, I think it caught me off guard. I think it caught a lot of people off guard. But it just goes to show they can bring back anything at any time. Like they have their cards well and truly hidden. Like.
I mean, I remember that Tuesday morning you were in our staff chat Discord. You posted that catalyst image, and I was like, "What?" And honestly, I wasn't expecting to see that immediately. I probably thought that was just going to be something that was in the database already that may come with Season of Opulence, because we're so close to the brand new season coming up soon. But no, it was Outbreak Perfected, dropping in a whisper-like mission, which was by far one of my favorite activities in Destiny right now. How many of you guys have managed to get your hands on it?
I have.
Yeah, I got it, man.
All right, beautiful. We all got it, so we can all talk about it.
Yeah, we can all talk about it.
The silence, I was a bit nervous. I was like, "Was no one got it?" Like,
silence is really good for an audio podcast. It's great.
I want to say I only have it because of Nem's charity and benevolence, and TBL as well. A big shout out to you both for basically dragging me, pulling and screaming out of my negative mindset from getting wrecked on Asian server Crucible matches on PC. Good time.
Yeah, man. So it was so good. Like that mission is beautifully designed. For those that haven't played it and don't know anything about it, just as a heads up, we're going to be getting into some spoilerish territory regarding on the setting of the mission. Most likely than not, you guys have already seen either videos or comments on it, but we are going to talk about the mission design itself. we return to the old tower, something that we haven't seen since the beginning of Destiny 2 when it was being attacked by the Red Legion, and I was pretty excited to see them reuse that space and really play into that nostalgia factor of the quest. Did you guys jump in immediately, or did you guys just kind of watch other people go through it first and see how to play through it?
I almost had no choice. Basically. So the maintenance got extended, but Xbox couldn't download the patch until after the maintenance had completed, and that was like extended by 3 hours. So I was just sat here watching it all unfold, which is frustrating as a content creator, as you could probably imagine. But just because you want to get involved and stuff, and you want to be part of the community effort to solve things, solve puzzles and stuff. You just feel like you're that disconnect there. And we'll talk a bit about it later with the new raid and what that could mean for PlayStation players and stuff. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure. But it was a little bit frustrating for me initially, but it's the bread and butter stuff for Destiny stuff, like how Well Shattered Throne came about, and the Whisper mission, how that was just discovered out of nowhere. And when they do stuff like this, it's phenomenal, and it just brings everyone together and excites the community again. So from what was sort of relatively probably a quiet season and that not a lot of people were engaged with, it suddenly sort of turned it around for a lot of people towards the end. So it's a positive for me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, did you how did you like the quest?
I liked it quite a bit. It took me a while to get into it. The first night we tried it, we just went in blind. So each time it was just like further and further and further in until we finally made it to the boss room. But
True.
yeah, I think I got it Thursday with Pretty Petty and Notos as my other two teammates, and yeah, it was excellent mission all the way through. Love the nostalgia factor, love the different parts of the tower that we probably never got to see elsewise. But yeah, it was super cool, super fun. You made a joke earlier in our pre-call chat about it having Metal Gear Solid vibes for you, and you were right. You're right. After seeing that video, fantastic. It's wonderful. For those of you who haven't seen that, I will be posting a link here in chat for you to watch.
Thanks. So, Crit, you mentioned we dragged you scratching and crying your way through it. What did you think of the mission, bud?
So first and foremost, I hyper focus, and because I turn into John Wick in PvE whenever it comes time to get things done. I didn't even know we were in the D1 tower until you told me afterwards, because I was like, "Where's the next thing to kill? I just want to kill the next thing. Let me kill it." So that was. If you play Game of Prime with me, you know that like Reaper is my everything. So it was interesting to get to go back to the tower. I went on my Titan. I made the mistake of going on my Titan because that there jumping puzzle. And this is the great thing when TBL, I saw his video on Planet Destiny on YouTube to get the guide to getting the weapon. So if you still want a solid guide with the walkthroughs the entire way, go check out his video. It's great. And you will see at about the halfway mark, every one of my wonderful deaths. He said, "I'm going to put the entire jumping puzzle for you here." And I'm like, great. Now all of YouTube gets to see how horrible I really am at this.
Look, that's one of the beauties of these like whisper-like missions where it's just riddled with jumping puzzles. And I can see TBL, if you're in the live show right now, TBL's just laughing away in chat. It was fantastic.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, bro. Here's to you.
Yeah.
The Warlock, dude. 100%.
Oh my god, it's so easy on a Warlock. Just
not fair.
And that's one of the things I really like about 0 Hour is that unlike the Whisper mission, it has a variant with the heroic version. So the jumping puzzles are very, very different, and they're pretty fantastic. Yeah, so man, getting all the way through that mission is quite quite amazing. It's just like how into the much into the tower we delve, and how where we end up in the Cryptarch vault, which has another secret hidden in there, but we'll get to that in a second. But what you guys think of the last boss fight?
Hectic.
Yeah. I've never feared a shank as much as I feared it in that boss fight.
No kidding. It was easy once like you cleared out the shanks and everything. The problem was, and this is the only time I'm going to say that this is a problem, I was on a team with 3 hunters. And
No
so-
Nova Bomb,
like
huh?
kind of an
No
issue.
Nova Bomb.
Yeah, we didn't have a Nova Bomb. We did have a golden gun for the servitors, but like that doesn't return immediately. And so
Yeah.
it was kind of struggle bus a couple of times. But when I ran it with my buddy TJW the next day on Friday, Nova Bomb just cleared everything up. It was
Mate,
It was
it
amazing.
does work on those servitors,
Yeah, it
mate.
does.
They're gone. Shank's gone.
Don't
And
say
Wrist Runner
anything.
is ridiculous in there.
If Bungie's listening, you know Skull's next. We can't say anymore.
nope, we're done.
Don't you dare touch my skull.
no.
No, but what's funny is like Skull was actually really good beforehand. Like it did receive a buff, but like it was great then. It was just when Cataclysm was buffed by an ungodly amount. That's when like Skull became a highlight to use with that. But anyways, that's besides the point. Dude, all right, so Outbreak Perfected. The gun itself
Mm-hmm.
is probably one of the strongest primaries
Yeah.
in the
Silly.
game right now.
It's silly.
And it will
it's-
only get better.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and it's
Catalyst.
only going to get better. So, one of the key differences with the Perfected versus the Prime is that the Perfected basically now uses the nanites that you hit on targets, and the more you are shooting at them, the more damage over time they're going to take.
Yeah.
And without the catalyst alone, the weapon is ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
We used it on
and the great thing is it works
Kali.
with other.
Yes, it stacks with other Outbreak Perfected. So if you got a full fire team running, as we've seen some of the top PvE goons already melt bosses do, like it's unbelievable.
Mm.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like I mean, we've already seen Glad and his merry band of friends, you know, just one phase bosses and Callus and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And this is without the catalyst.
Yeah.
The catalyst is going to further increase that damage from the nanite. So can you imagine how much stronger that thing is going to be in like what 3 to 5 weeks from now, depending
Ugh.
on the progress?
It's gonna
Yeah.
be amazing in PvP even. Which
On
is probably
PC,
why
it's practically it's got no recoil. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not many guns that do on PC, but like it's like a laser beam.
Let's see, what's recoil on PC? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
this
exactly.
recoil?
Yeah.
I guess
ridiculous.
it's interesting to see like will they have to go back and revisit it once the catalyst is unlocked and we've got full fire teams using it on raid bosses? Are they going to have to like come in and say, oh, all right, guys, we got to slow your roll. Listen, it was wonderful while it lasted, but we've got to do some fine tuning here. I don't know.
I hope not, man. I think they should aspire to, other weapons that they bring back or create. They should aspire to, excel in that area. It feels like an exotic, man. That's exactly what it should be.
And that's the thing, right? So this is a primary that kind of gets to do more than what a primary normally gets to do, right? Like once those nanites are on there and he's covered in the creepy crawlies, the bosses, it gets to go outside of just doing normal primary damage. It gets to kind of improve its swagger a little bit, which is really what makes it exotic, I think, Jar. Like the note you hit.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I haven't had a whole chance to take it into PvP yet, but it's been amazing in PvE. Ooh, Dan?
I have some opinions on it in PvP.
Oh, do tell, buddy.
I brought it in and I was like, oh shit, I think this is gonna be a problem because like the stacking buff, you don't really get a chance to really like get that off on a Guardian because we're so squishy as it is. But the man, I think it was like a 3 burst for me. And
Yeah, I think it's free burst.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
yeah, it was with it not moving all that much, with it being a 3 burst. You could, I don't know. I was killing a lot of people and I was having a lot of fun. I was like, this is going to be a problem. I can see everybody's going to use this and it's going to be nerfed sometime in the near future. Like it's just going to be.
I think its only handicap is its range. I have a 99 range blast furnace with feeding frenzy and kill clip, and I have a feeling that if I were to bring that into tow and like me and an outbreak perfected guy are dueling it out, if it's like Equinox and we're across the map, I win. So that will probably be its Achilles heel is other pulse rifles with better range or scouts possibly.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just I liked it a lot. I thought it was really nice for what I was working on, which was nothing. I just wanted to see how it played. But I think it's going to be in my primary slot for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
For a minute. So
yeah, absolutely. And one of our hosts is in chat, the Black Link, and he says that it's got a very specific power that only really becomes broken when you have everyone using it against extremely high health enemies. And in PvP, it's just a stupidly solid pulse rifle, great range and stability, and it is. I've been running people through 0 hour with my buddy Pyro Gaming, and that's when it's time to get to the to the boss for the spider walkers at the end. Immediately we both go to the right. He puts down a rally barricade, and we both just melt those spider walkers with the outbreak prime. And the amount of damage that thing does, as it is absurd. It's insanely powerful.
And that's what makes it balanced. I think is that you hit upon something here, Nem. You need it's great, but it needs that final little bit of help. Right, like Lunafaction boot, Warlock, and a Rift, or a Rally Barricade. That it needs that last little push, to get to its final form. And I think that's where the balance is. Would you all?
I mean, yeah, definitely having that kind of thing helps it. Actually, now that you mentioned Lunafaction boots, I'm actually curious if using an Empowering Rift increases the damage on the nanites. Gonna have to
feel like
look
some
into
private
that.
matches are going to happen.
Yeah,
we know what it does to the Chaperone if you put on the Lunafaction boots.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but Crit posted a video on Twitter not so long ago of him just out mapping somebody with a Chaperone at an absolute absurd distance. It was super
21 meters. It was 21 meters before Roadborne proc. That poor Titan.
So gross. Anyways, so that's Outbreak perfected. As it is with the base. If you manage to get your hands on one, you'll immediately unlock the heroic variant of 0 hour, and completing through that will net you the catalyst. And like the Whisper, it's one of the catalysts that you kind of have to work with over time. So as it stands, when you complete the heroic version and you get the catalyst, I believe you get 20% on it. And there is a little puzzle in the 0 hour mission that came along, which is a little complicated, a little time consuming.
Yeah,
just a little.
I don't know if the person who created that puzzle just does not like people, but this puzzle is unbelievably complex. I mean, at least at first, like if you're using the tools that the community has managed to build for it, it becomes extremely easy, and it's just a matter of getting to that.
So what does it entail? Because as somebody who I've run heroic a couple of times just to kind of get a feel for the new puzzles and stuff. What are the steps to get the catalyst? What are the steps to keep rolling through it? Is it kind of like Whisper in the way that you have to kind of roll through different singes?
It's more involved than the Whisper catalyst. Actually, Jarv, you made a guide for it, bud. You want?
Yeah, I can do it. So you
go for it.
So you get the catalyst from the heroic version. So that net that for you, and then when you rerun it in the first area where either Levante used to
Hmm.
stationed in D1. There's just like a couple of shelves, and there's like a transponder on there that you can pick up the void version. And then basically you need to collect 3 separate key cards in the mission. So they're hidden as you go through the normal mission. So they're in various locations. So you collect those 3 cards, and you've got that transponder. Then you get to the vault, and then with those 3 key cards, you can actually begin sequences on some of the consoles in that room. Each console has 2 clocks, and then each clock resembles a number. So this week, I think you only need to use console 1, which is the one on the far left, and console 3, which is the one on your left as you go directly in the room. But I think you only need the 1 dial from that, the left side.
Yes. Yeah.
But like Nem was saying, there's some fantastic tools. It started off with spreadsheets, and now there's literally just a website where you just choose your number, and it tells you, what color room and what number node in that room. But like I said pre-show, it's fantastic work from the community to work it out. I just want to, in game, I want to know what the correlation is between what we see on those dials versus the correct answer, because no one really knows what that is yet, which is because I'm pretty sure we're missing the trick somewhere.
Yeah.
But when you do it, when you complete it, you get the blueprint for the ship or a ship, and we'll have to complete a Arc and Solar version, most likely to get that. And you also get some Siva particulates as well.
Yeah, which is what boosts your catalyst up from 20% to 33%. Now, the actual puzzle in the vault, as Jarf was mentioning, so there's 3 consoles in there, but you only really need the console number 1 and console number 3. Along with that, there are, 7 rooms, 6 rooms?
7 rooms, yeah.
So there's 7 rooms, and each one of those rooms has different colors.
Okay.
Right. So, there's a green room, there's a white room, there's a blue room, a purple room, and within each one of those rooms, there's 7 consoles.
Yeah.
So if you're using the calculator that was created by the community, the person that's reading the numbers on the dials on terminal 1 will read a number from left to right. So they'll say either 4 and 6. And you take those numbers and you put it on the calculator. Sometimes you'll need the number from terminal 3,
Okay.
and it's only 1 number that you'll need. So when you input those numbers into the calculator, it'll tell you which room you need to go to and what console you need to activate.
Okay.
So it'll tell you green 3. So on that same calculator, there's actually a really fantastic layout of what consoles are what in there. So you basically have to repeat that cycle 49 times.
Jesus.
Why though? Why? Because it's a multiple of 7? Bungie, why?
On the bright side, each time you input a sequence correctly, it will net you 12 seconds back on your timer.
Oh my god.
No. If we're gonna do like 7 times itself, we need more than. I want 7 times itself in seconds back. All right, you can't. It's rob Peter to pay Paul. Oh my.
It's unbelievably long. Like, so you gotta make sure that when you're going to do this, you get there with as much time as possible. I think the last couple of times that I did it, we went in there with maybe like 2 minutes left on the clock, and by the time that we were done, we only had a couple of seconds left before the mission finally just automatically kicked us out. But we managed to get the person their ship schematic and their extra percentage for their catalyst. But yeah, so I mean, if you want to get the catalyst as fast as possible, which if the math works correctly, you need to do this 3 times over the course of the next 3 weeks. So if you haven't done it yet, I really, really recommend going in there before resets. And there's plenty of people in the community that are helping people through it, including here in the Planet Destiny Twitch channel. Bo Solaris was helping out people get through that. So I really recommend doing so. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait 5 weeks in order to get the catalyst done, because you're only going to get the 20% from just completing the heroic version. So
yeah, that might be the route I take.
Remember when secrets in video games were like throwing stuff into a pond and then a fairy gave you a better version out? So you just do
Yeah.
everything you had in there, trial and error. Now we have software that the community has to develop.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. It's pretty gnarly.
Crazy how
So-
quick they turn that out as well.
I have a question about the
Yeah.
White Room. Does it have black curtains?
No.
That was a joke for like one person who listens to this podcast. It's fine.
All right, there you go. But yeah, no, it's pretty insane. Luckily, you don't have to kill the boss after you get your configuration puzzle done. But yeah, you're gonna have to do that another 3 times over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Mm.
If you did it this week, it's 2 weeks. So yeah, it's pretty insane.
Just
So
add a little inside.
yeah, Critbuff, we got to get you through that as well. So you better get ready for that.
I'm gonna go through it real quick. I'll be right back.
As long as you get your ass in there.
I know, and I yeah.
Along with that, we also just like Whisper, this is a topic that I kind of want to just quickly cover. We got a couple of ornaments on Eververse as well for the Outbreak Perfected. We have a ornament called Patient Zero, which is my personal favorite. And we have another one. Anybody remember the name of the second ornament?
No.
I call it the Bumblebee one because it turns it black and yellow. So that's what I call it in my head.
Black and
Yeah.
yellow,
I'm
black
sure
and yellow.
chat knows the proper name for the second ornament. I'm just reading through here. It's I can't remember it. I'm blanking here. But anyways, it's black and green. It looks pretty nice. I went with the Patient Zero. One of the differences between these is these are a little bit cheaper than the
How much
Whisper
are they?
ones. 700 silver.
Okay. Which in American dollars.
That's $7.
$7? All right.
Yeah, because the Whisper
Smart.
ones were $10 each.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit more expensive, but it's really good. The Patient Zero one, I really recommend looking at that one because it has animations to it.
Mhm.
So whenever you shoot the gun, you see like the little Siva tendrils on there, and they light up and they go all crazy. And there's proper animations on the body of the gun itself. So whenever you're shooting it, it's like just Siva, just like covering different areas of the gun. It's really cool. So I really recommend looking at them just
That's awesome.
before. Yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, like it looks pretty great. I think they did a fantastic job with the 0 hour mission and just kind of throwing in that surprise in there.
It's so big, dude. Like, genuinely, like, at first I was like, oh, it's Homecoming, like, reversed. And then it just branches off and becomes this absolute... It's so big. Like, it must have taken them so... How they kept it under wraps. I mean, I know some of the stuff got sort of dated mined over the last couple of weeks, but in terms of, like, what it was,
Mhm.
no one had a Scooby-Doo, man. Like, that's
Yeah.
it's amazing. When they can land stuff like that, it's incredible.
When it comes to like this next upcoming season, that's supposed to be this season of Opulence is supposed to be the secret bearing one, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this makes me super stoked to see what happens in the next
Mate.
couple weeks.
Like, every day it's going to be different. You log in
Oh my
like,
God.
what is this?
Oh my goodness.
Everybody's
I would
like,
say this
"Where's
for
the
the-
content?" Maybe Opulence has all of it.
It's right there. You just don't know
Yeah.
where it is yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you imagine logging in and it just being normal. It's like,
Like,
what?
What happened?
Yeah, what happened?
Nothing.
Yeah.
What?
you gotta find it. Speaking
I was-
of Season of Opulence, we finally have a date for Season of Opulence that was revealed at this week at Bungie. June 4th, the new season starts. So for everybody that's still trying to get like whatever seasonal triumphs that we have going on right now, you have a deadline. Along with the reveal of the date when the new season starts, the raid drops on the same day, just 6 hours later.
Fucking A. That's awesome.
Plenty of time. Ready for that.
Jarv, what
So-
time is that for you?
It's about now. Yeah, it's about midnight.
right?
Yeah,
About now.
yeah. Resets at 6 p.m. UK time.
Okay.
So midnight. Yeah, like for anyone in sort of this part of Europe, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
Because you're tired anyway. You're gonna be tired.
Mhm.
So tired.
So there's a big discussion going on right now with that information. Because normally, I think the last time that we had a raid drop this on this day one of the content release was Crota's End.
Okay.
So it's been a while since we've had, very little prep time to do that. But I feel like this is probably the best middle ground that Bungie could have done in order to get that world's first. Because one of the key issues here is that, and let me bring up that this week at Bungie, because this correlates also as well with the changes that they're doing to the game on that day. So whenever there's a new raid out, we always know that there is a world's first race to it. And obviously this is no exception. So with that coming on the same day, just 6 hours later, Last Wish and Scourge of the Past will be unavailable until the new raid has been beaten, to prevent players with a stash of ethereal keys to, kind of boost their power level up. They kind of want to soft cap people in order so they can be challenged with the raid, because this was an issue that we saw with Scourge of the Past, where it was beaten relatively quickly. I mean, it's not the biggest raid anyways, but
right. And we've talked about that in the past. That was just kind of like, all right, it's big skyboxes, which is cool. I enjoy a big skybox, but not a lot in it,
yeah, you can only look at it for so long.
Yeah.
So along with that, Prime Attunements will also be reset to 2 charges per character on day 1. And while characters will build Prime Attunement charges over time, these are going to be set for 2 per character upon logging in after the new season begins. So they're really trying to put a soft cap on people from over leveling to make sure that the new raid isn't beaten like super fast, or because they want the raid to be challenging. They don't want to make this brand new pinnacle experience to just kind of be run through,
right,
because of previous end game content that's available there. So and as a last reminder there, any powerful bounties that you have before Season of the Drifter hits will cap at 700. So even if you hoard those, ain't gonna do you much good.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier, Sweatsickle is already working on like a workaround. There's like a spreadsheet. Let me drop the link in there to his tweet.
Of course there's a spreadsheet.
Yeah, like
absolutely. Destiny, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's always a spreadsheet. But this thing, like, he's saying keep in mind that it's not like 100%. But yeah, like, he's posting like flashpoints limited to 1 character, allegiance quest complete up to the last step. These are like things to do before jumping in there on your Titan, your Warlock, your Hunter, and so forth. It's pretty interesting, pretty in depth. There's some redacted stuff in there that's going to be that they're going to be working on and testing, but I don't know, for anybody that's like listening or watching us on YouTube, or here on Twitch, it's a pretty interesting tool to kind of look over, maybe.
Yeah.
Just
It's definitely in the prep work, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think like when you read through that, it's a fantastic little guide that he's put together, and there's things in there that I'd not even thought about, to be honest, but it's definitely in the prep work and setting yourself up. Cause you're not, like you said, Nem, you're not gonna be able to carry anything forward.
Yeah.
It's like bounties and stuff. It's good for Ikora. That's at best. Dreaming City and stuff carries 7 of those over. That's really good. It's about saving time, isn't it? Once the reset hits, so you can just run around, do 1 bounty here, pick up rewards or pinnacle weapons there and stuff. Because 6 hours will fly by.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got multiple characters.
In between that time as well. And we were kind of talking about this before the show, is that you'll still have Shattered Throne, to to do,
Yeah.
which gives you a pretty sizable boost.
Wait, is that
or at
week
least-
as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
a
week.
full curse week.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a stacked day.
You're gonna be busy.
Yeah, it's a stacked day. Lots to do. Another thing that was kind of a hot topic is the fact that it's dropping. The rate is dropping 6 hours later, which it's going to be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Pacific time. That's 7 Eastern and midnight for the UK. So a lot of
8
people
a.m.
aren't
here.
too happy. Yeah, 8 a.m. Yeah, he's got plenty of
He's
time. He's
gonna
got
be
the day to burn.
well rested.
Yeah, he's
Good night's sleep.
Yeah, no, see,
Um,
the reset happens at 2 a.m. my time, so that's the
Oh, okay.
The
So
balance
you're not
of the
going to have a
force.
whole lot of time to. I mean, unless you're crazy enough to, just like power through with some coffee and.
Does Balls
But,
still
yeah.
exist? Do you guys remember
Huh?
Balls, the little energy drink that came in the blue bottle? That had little nubs on the
Oh,
outside.
yeah. I know we sell those at my old job.
So just get
Yep.
yourself some balls.
I'm
We
gonna-
sell some balls. A couple of bottles of balls.
Couple
I'll
balls.
reach out
Say
to some
that fast
guys.
5 times.
Name once he gets his hands on some balls. I don't judge, but
Walked
I'll just
into
reach
that
out-
one.
yeah, he did. Backed into it maybe, but so yeah, I'm gonna reach out to some soldiers over in Afghanistan, have them ship me some rippets. That's what I'll do. If you remember those, for some reason the army still has like all the rippets left in the world in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I'll reach out to some guys, see if they can care package those over to me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's that the raid releasing at that time is kind of a hot button because it's just all over the place on a Tuesday. So the people that are working, that's usually close to like they're at the end of the day, their bedtime. They're getting home tired, ready to wake up. The next day. So it definitely puts a hamper on the people who kind of want to participate. As opposed to the people that are going to be streaming it.
Yeah.
It's literally a non-issue for them.
So
I'm going to
Drifter-
mute myself real fast
Okay.
because doggos are going to go crazy.
okay, sounds good. So Drifter asked an interesting question in chat. And he's like, "Are you worried that it's another small raid like Scourge of the Past, and they don't want it to be beaten so easy, and that's why they're doing it?"
It's a balance, right? I think there's maybe an element of that,
Yeah.
possibly, but then it's also down as an all new raid.
Mhm.
I don't know what studios do. I don't know if this is a Bungie part of the annual pass or whether it's the last
Yeah.
part of the Vicarious
I think this is
Visions.
Vicarious Visions. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
their. If I remember correctly, it's their final.
swan song.
Yeah, there we are.
Okay, so they've had since Warmind really to be
It's a
working
long
on.
time.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful it'd be good. I think it's more about creating a level playing field for more players,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
rather than having a standalone group which are obviously far excelling everyone else just from time investment compared to like the normal working player and stuff. It's just to help try and do that. I think that's the angle I'm looking at it, rather than is it going to be long or short or anything like that.
Yeah.
I would say it's. I think Bungie realizes the kind of the second and third order effects, as we would call them in the military. So if Bungie releases Last Wish at the power level, fence that you have to clear first, they know that people are going to do everything in their power to do that, because for some people this is their livelihood, right? Our big streamer.
Yeah.
If I'm Bungie, I'm probably going to sit there and say, you know what? I love these guys and gals. I don't want them being up for 30 hours straight or whatever have you, all this madness. Let me create a level playing field as best as I can and give them all a very obtainable barrier to entry, so that way they're not murdering themselves in preparation beforehand. That would be the only point of view I could bring to it, is that this is just the staff there being like, we got to help them help themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I got a question for you guys.
Sure.
Go for it.
So let's speculate a little bit here. We know the name of the raid,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an interesting name.
Yeah.
The name of the raid is called the Crown of Sorrow. Now, if you're into the lore, sorrow tends to tie in with a different topic in a different enemy race,
Mhm.
as opposed to what we're expecting this raid to be in, because they've teased Season of Opulence to be, pretty thematically tied to Leviathan. But the name Crown of Sorrow to me sounds like Hive.
Yeah.
You'd love it to be Hive, though, wouldn't you?
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. But I'm trying to be. I'm trying
Put away the
I'm trying to, like take
Put away
that
the
away.
razors, man. Put
He's
away the
trying to-
razors.
He's trying to like, oh boy, oh boy, I
Listen,
can't wait.
listen. This most like excites me and concerns me though, because as we know, there is no more Taken King.
Right.
That mantle was kind of left up there, and we know that somebody else has been kind of in control of the Taken, which is Oryx's sister Savathun.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of little lore bits of her and whatnot with like the Dreaming City, her daughter Dueling Karu. What if the braid itself is not tied to Leviathan, but what if it's tied somewhere in the Dreadnought? Because
Yeah.
we still have yet to see that, based on the end game cutscene that we got. That was a roadmap of the places that we were going to go to.
Yeah.
Because we've seen everything. We've seen Mars happen. We've seen the Reef come and go. And the last bit that we saw there was Oryx's Dreadnought ship.
Yeah.
I think like when you look at, sorry Dan, I think like some of the footage that we've seen with the 6 players on the Leviathan, I think that's more towards the new 6-man match-made activity. I think you're on the right sort of lines. I think like because they've had 2 raid layers and a raid on Leviathan, so why would you do that again unless there's takes you somewhere else?
Yeah.
I think Nessus would be an interesting thing to look at, considering that's right next to Leviathan.
Yeah.
Maybe find out a bit of what Cade was actually doing, because we don't really know still.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're on the right sort of lines. I don't imagine it to be on Leviathan. I think that's where the 6-player activity
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And one of the reasons why this concerns me as well is because we haven't properly seen, like, again, it's pure speculation, but we haven't properly seen like Savathun in game.
Yeah.
So in order to like if this is tying into her somehow, is pretty worrisome for me, because again it almost feels like if it does happen, it's almost going to be like a Zol Nokris thing, where it feels like almost it's just kind of shoehorned in.
Yeah. I think so. As you mentioned, him right, we have had confirmed that yes, the order in the cinematic is the order of the DLCs.
Yeah.
And we know this has been in the oven the longest of these season pass things. We know Vicarious Visions knocks it out of the park. They've been working on Warmind apparently since like the Taken King was out, I think.
Parts of it, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously development takes its time. It's magic as far as I'm concerned, what they can do. But where was I going with this? At any rate, right, so the crown nomenclature, right? Emperor Callus wears a crown, or we could have the Taken... I mean,
there's a lot.
Yeah, maybe we have competition. I don't know.
It's
Yeah, I
interesting
mean,
you mentioned that cutscene again, though, because I think after the Reef, it is actually the right, or the Rings of Saturn, right?
Yeah, the Rings of Saturn.
Yeah,
and I mean, we know that there's in the roadmap that we've seen before, there's 2 redacted features yet. However, we do know that the raid is is on there in the non-redacted section, and there's also the 6-player matchmade activity. What if one of those redacted things is Patrol Zone back to the Dreadnought?
maybe.
I'd be a happy little boy.
Because, like, I mean, Bungie is fantastic at like just throwing people off. Outbreak Perfect is a clear example of that. So I don't know, man. I'm pretty excited and scared to see where Opulence is going to take us.
Yeah. I don't know. With them being like, this is the one of secrets, I'm stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Give me more Outbreak Perfecteds. Give me more Whispers. Give me whatever the hell else you want. I'm good with it. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. If it's Savathun this early, like, what's the next big bad?
Yeah.
In the realm.
I think some of the leaks that were happening a couple of months ago were saying that I think this season we'll start to understand the next enemy. So whether like Savathun will probably, if she is there, not actually be there, but will actually, because at the moment we're assuming it's Savathun based on everything that the game's telling us.
It is interesting that the day of the raid release is also Shattered Throne Day.
Full curse.
Yeah.
Do we break the curse?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Can we break the curse?
Can we?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. I think this week is the week that you're supposed to be able to get the Chronicler. This upcoming week is the week that you're supposed to get Chronicler, if I'm correct. So I'm hoping that we see like a cinematic or something along those lines for that. But it is interesting. That yeah. It is interesting that that's another curse week following up.
Will Mara be back?
Yeah.
What happened to Aldrin? Where is he at? Right? Like, obviously, that's something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it's still a loose end. Which I honestly don't think we're going to see anything in Aldrin until either whatever was going to come after September, or at the very latest, maybe the next iteration of Destiny. Because I mean, that's a huge, that's a huge plot line that we still have yet to go through.
And it's also a connection that we'd like to make, is be like, oh, that's neat and tidy. Just put a bow on that. A year after Forsaken comes around, we get whatever with Aldrin. But who knows, man? Who knows?
I mean, we didn't find out about Elsie until Warmind, so there was years in between that plot line. So I wouldn't be too shocked to not see Aldrin for another good while. But I mean, go ahead.
There's not anyone else that actually knows that Aldrin's alive other than us.
Yeah, just the player.
Yeah.
Osiris knows, but that's Osiris.
Pulled pork knows.
Pulled pork knows. Trevor knows.
Can we get Peter Dinklage for pulled pork,
Trevor
please?
knows.
Trevor knows all.
Trevor knows everything. Trevor knows all. All shall fall before his devouring maw.
Someone check on Dan.
JD, I'm okay. I'm all right.
He's been Trevored one time.
I love you.
Also, the stranger, right? We know Mara's we suspect Mara is out chilling with her new bestie, the stranger. So maybe she makes a reappearance. I don't know. It's interesting times. Yeah,
there's definitely a lot of that we still need to tie in. What's interesting is that this week we also saw again the Dorito ships, as people like to call them. In an interesting Invitations of the Nine this week, we saw the Drifter talking to the Emissary, and she says that the visions that he's having are tied to those ships.
Is it me, or every time I see those ships, I literally sit up? Yeah, like I'm like, oh shit, like that. We know nothing, but they sort of immediately grab your attention because they're so mysterious.
It's just a bunch of My Little Ponies walk out of it.
As a father of two girls, nothing would make me happier than for my daughter to just casually walk by my playing the game, and then she sees like Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie and all of them just fall out of there. Just the embodiments of pure darkness. And
this is actually what Bungie was waiting for after the Activision split.
To tie in My Little Pony.
The licensing rights to My Little Pony. They had to hit up Hasbro. God. That's what the money from NetEase was actually for, so they could go to Hasbro with a bargain.
Look.
Give me Twilight Sparkle.
Oh my god, yeah. So we
there's some interesting times ahead, man. I mean, Luke Smith has cleared his Twitter down. Like, it's pretty much like...
Yeah. So, okay, on occasion I check on his page right? Just to see if there's
Just
anything
see how
there.
he's doing. See how
Just
he's
to see
faring
what,
nowadays.
what's
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
because Luke Smith tends to go hiding for good periods of time, and
He goes dark. Yeah.
it was interesting. Yeah, quite literally. And it's I mean it happened before Destiny 2 came out as well. Like his profile was dark, and then Destiny 2 was announced, and all his artwork and there was Destiny 2 stuff. But yeah, he's gone dark again, and this time he's completely cleared out his Twitter feed. Like it's just, I think he maybe has like a few replies here and there. But that man has been throwing out Vault of Glass references left and right as well.
Mm.
So I don't know. We'll have to see what he's up to.
I'll ask my old special forces units to look into it, so you can get some
Check
info.
up on this man. Yeah,
I kid, sort of.
What do you think the summer holds? Like, do you think? I don't. Because like, if you think past Opulence, right?
Oh,
So
we're supposed to have Solstice of Heroes in the middle of like
Yeah.
Opulence, aren't we?
Yeah. So like, E3 is like the week after Opulence goes live. So I don't suppose Bungie are going to E3.
Holy shit, is it really?
Yeah, it's like the 11th of June.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
I forgot about
yeah.
that.
Oh, but at that time they've already had their announcement over at Guardian Con, haven't they? Or no,
Well,
that's
that's
July.
after.
That's in
July.
July. Yeah.
That's in
I-
July.
I wonder if they'll wait because they're going Guardian Con. this year.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm actually really curious because PlayStation doesn't have a conference at E3 this year.
right.
No.
And beforehand, because of the contractual, thing that with Activision, the Destiny was tied to like the PlayStation conferences and such. So
Yeah.
That's what we think. Yeah.
we probably might not see them
Let's
personally at E3.
talk
Maybe they'll
amongst
do their
yourselves. I'm
own
gonna
type.
Check that out.
What?
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to check that out.
So
Okay.
what if for Solstice for Heroes, like if you've held on to your armor from last time, they put rules on it? Wouldn't that be so you can wear it again? It's like, remember that armor that you just like
Oh my god,
banged your head against a wall for? Like,
dude! And I got all
games-
3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, and I got that
It was
ship and
solo.
it's the same one in Eververse. Like,
Bungie is not
Yeah.
among one of the participating companies at E3.
There you go.
there you go. So
So they're probably going to hold
Guardian
on to
Con
whatever
anyway.
announcements, and they're probably revealing that at Guardian Con. Because I mean, we'll be in a month into Season of Opulence, and we don't know what that content schedule release will be like within Opulence just yet. So
Yeah, June. It'll stretch out towards the end of July. August to be quiet, and then but you'd expect that to be because it's the build up or the ramp up to something else, right?
yeah, and of course we're most likely going to hear probably the week before a Season of Opulence. We'll start seeing either Vidocs or calendars and stuff like that. So we still have
Next week, probably.
Yeah, we still got a bit. I don't know. I feel they released Outbreak Perfected to kind of keep us going up until they start talking about Season of Opulence. It was just really well timed. I see you, Bungie.
Yeah, everything with a purpose, right? That was.
Yeah.
I could entirely believe that. Like, all right, we know not everybody's like, we don't all have Gambit as our kink, like Nem. So Bungie is. That's his words. His words, chat. His exact,
Yeah.
What if? And it was entirely on purpose. You don't just randomly. You know what? Today, Outbreak Perfected. Why not? Yeah, today. It was.
Push the goddamn button.
It was done on purpose, and I think it's a wonderful farewell to the season. Maybe kind of bring people back, get them interested, get them talking about it all again, hyped and ready for next.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at Moonball in the chat. Yeah, no, those have been my words in the past. And
Can we
I
get
stand.
that quoted in chat, please? Like, can we get that as a quote?
I want to see you wear a T-shirt. Like,
That's Planet Destiny, and then on the back it says "Gambit is my kink." Quote Nim.
Quote them? Yeah.
It's just
Trademark.
it's dash. No.
trademark that, man.
Sign. It's like signature Nim.
Oh my god.
And then underneath it is just a picture of Tractor Cannon.
Mhm.
God, it's such a silly gun. I love it. So yeah, alongside that bit of information that was released into this week at Bungie, we have Iron Banner coming up as well, starting on May 14th, ending on May 21st.
Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if
It's a thing.
for some reason you don't have a Criminal's Dagger or a what is that grenade?
It's the grenade launcher. It's the something of the Raven, Swarm of the Raven. It's not
Swarm,
good.
yeah. If you
That's
don't
all
have
you
it,
need
or
to know. It's
or-
not good.
or the shader.
The last opportunity to get the heavy as death emblem. So you're going after that triumph.
If you
Yeah.
hate yourself enough, sure.
Yeah, if you really hate yourself, that's yeah.
But it's not the revelry anymore, so it won't be as bad.
Yeah.
Did the revelry hurt or make it easier? That's the question you have to ask yourself, right? Like,
I think it made it easier, in all honesty, but no.
I don't know. Where's my Iron Lord title, by the way? Bungo. Where's my
It doesn't exist because that character didn't exist at that time.
There is a lot of conversation about that on Reddit, and people are like, why is everybody wanting all these titles back? I don't want to see everybody with a title. Titles are supposed to be earned! And it's weird.
200 Iron Banner packages later, I've earned it, okay?
Yeah.
This is the face of the man who has earned it.
Well, tell that to Reddit.
I'll get right on. They're welcoming, accepting people, right? They listen to every argument you present and hear it in its entirety and look at it
They're
objectively before they
well-rounded with their responses, yes.
Okay,
And
None of them
balance.
are emotionally charged at all.
Oh my god.
I'm now suddenly banned from Reddit when I try to log in next time.
You and me both. Anyway.
Oh. Good company. All right.
But yeah, as far as updates into this week at Bungie, I believe that covers most of the noteworthy
Yeah.
things. So not a whole lot to revise there. Yeah, man. I don't know. That's a lot of most of the information that we got this week. I'm stoked, dude. I can't wait for Opulence.
Same.
Yeah, same. Well, going back to Outbreak Perfector real quick, and this is what I loved about the Whisper of the Worm mission. I've tweeted this out as well. The mission, the layout, the environment does not care for you to be there or not. It seems like it exists outside of your Guardian. So when we're out goofing around on all these little scaffolds and doing our best impersonation of Luke in Sky City, hanging for our lives off of these little antennas, that is probably the most beautiful part about these missions to me, is that they are an alien environment that is not hospitable to you being there, and it seems completely natural to how the tower would have been built or kept together over time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, hats off to the artist team for all of that, and the design team.
It's pretty great. I had a question for you guys, and I just completely blanked on it. Yeah. Oh, right. It was because of I want to say it was Drifter in chat. He mentioned the Revelry. So now that the Revelry has come and gone,
Yeah.
how are you guys finding Crucible okay now?
I want my cooldowns back. I want my cooldowns back. Just in everything.
How have you guys been adjusting to that? Because I'm having a hard time in PvE.
I'm on Asian PC servers, so the Crucible is never okay. Next.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Yeah, it was nice to be off.
Yeah, I don't know. I've gone in and played a couple of times in PvP, and it's definitely nice not being skip grenaded every other goddamn second. So can't have it, Dan.
Dan wants it back.
Can't have it.
At least in PvE. At least in PvE.
Dan. How's Spectral Blades after the
I haven't
the
touched them. I have not been back.
Oh, you haven't really?
I haven't been back flipping. I've been too depressed to go into the Crucible really, outside of going in for that Outbreak Perfected thing. It feels bad, man. The world feels like it lost.
Well, that's genuine feels there as well.
It lost a bit of the brightness that I feel was in it. the day that Spectrals died, and if I can for a moment, like, I'd like to give a eulogy to all the Spectral Bladers out there.
Someone cue In the Arms of the Angel.
Yeah. Look, you were wonderful. You used me, I used you. It was an excellent situation. I never thought that I could backflip to new heights until I met you. And now you're gone. And now I'll forever feel like half a man. I just
Do you
want
need
to
some
say,
tissues, Dan? You need some
Jarv,
tissues, dude.
Jarv, you're breaking a moment. I just want to say, I just want to say, I'll always love you, and I'll remember what you did for me. Thank you.
Dan, never change.
Never change.
Never change.
That was emotional.
Unlike
Spoke my heart.
Spectral Blades.
Oh. Hashtag too soon.
Right into my heart. Okay, let's go.
Oh man! All right, what did you guys think? Let's start getting these chants from question covered.
That sounds great. I've been collecting them all throughout the episode. I think we might ask all of them. I think we got enough time.
We got plenty of time. We got plenty of time for all of them.
Let's ask all of them. The Ghostly Phoenix asks, so can I ask lore-wise why the Vanguard is not invested in patching up and trying to use the old tower, or maybe even Bannerfall? Is there anything in the lore that talks about that?
As far as Bannerfall, that was, I can't remember. That was just like a testing ground, wasn't
That's
it?
the Lysander bit. That was back in D1 with the Cormorant or Concordat. Concordat. Yeah. Concordat and they went up against New Monarchy. So
That's
it was just like an
storyline
empty
so
tower that they went like jets and sharks in, right?
cool.
Like when you're a jet all the way, that kind of thing.
Are we talking sports ball? Are we talking...
No, we're talking West Side Story.
Oh.
Another thing I'm familiar with. So,
yeah. I would say, okay, just from a practical standpoint, from a military organization, which is what the Vanguard effectively is, they're a militia. You have so many resources, you have so many, personnel to get things done, and Zavala and the Vanguard have to prioritize stuff. And honestly, just patching up the exterior, as long as the wall is doing its job, then from a commander's point of view, I'll worry about it later. There are other things that I have to fix immediately. So just from a pragmatic military point of view, that would be one reason why.
Yeah.
I mean, and if anything, going back from 0 Hour, there's a lot of scaffolding and stuff in the old tower, so maybe they're working on fixing it.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Who knows?
We'll post it again.
Ironhide 1983 asks, do you believe that the Infinite Forest should have a raid which takes you back to Vault of Glass?
We've actually talked pretty in depth about that. As the name suggests, there's an endless possibility of things that you can do with the Infinite Forest. I'm sure it's just a matter of time and resources.
It can be spooky. It can be verdant.
It can be normal, and it could be an A to B loading zone.
Yeah.
Zing.
See what I did there. I mean, honestly, if that was a way to use the Infinite Forest, I would more than welcome that. I mean, we've seen the Infinite Forest simulate Vault of Glass in that cutscene for Curse of Osiris. So I would hope, maybe at some point in time we could potentially maybe see that. But I would love it if they would tie like the old raids to the Infinite Forest. It's like you just load into the Infinite Forest, and like one path takes you to Vault of Glass, or one path takes you to Crota's End. Like, that'd be sick, and I want it. And I'm sad that's not a thing now. Thank you. Who asked that question? Who was it? Who was it?
I deleted it already, so I don't even know.
Damn
Or
it!
Shan.
No, it was
I think
it was Ironside
back to
1983 who asked that question.
Ironhide.
I think if we went back
Sad.
to Vault, man, I think it'd be good to go back at a different time. You know, when we're going through the portals at Atheon, to see the rest of the Vault at a different time. When that would be cool. I think the Infinite Forest. I think they could do something cool with that. They could put a PvEVP style activity in there, maybe. You know, have fire teams start in the present, future, and past, and then just sort of go to a central point that has a boss or something like that. It's almost like a race, but an indirect race. Another
Yeah.
team.
You clear waves, basically. It's a race to see who can clear a wave faster than the other team. Yeah.
And then take the boss out, and then they can have mechanics around how you can heal that boss against the other team and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could do something like that.
I would love it, dude. I mean, I would love it if they just use the Infinite Forest for more stuff. Because it has infinite possibilities.
I guess the only caveat I would put to all of that revisiting old raids is you can only go back to the well. They can only go back to what worked in Destiny 1 so many times before that one trick pony is done doing its show.
Mm-hmm.
So as great as everything was in D1, we do need to be creating new memories. So
absolutely.
100%. It's walking that fine line, isn't it, between not recycling stuff to make it feel like we're just bringing stuff forward, but you know, nostalgia trips are good. You know, when we go back to the Cosmodrome or like this 0 hour is great from a nostalgia point of view.
Yeah. Like
So
new thing, nostalgia, new thing.
Yeah, exactly. If they walk that line, I think they can't really go too far wrong.
Yeah. Farmark asks, do you think we'll see Eris Morn if the season is Hive related?
I would think so, yeah.
As a vendor, maybe?
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
I can see it.
I don't know where. Oh, maybe in the Dreadnought.
We don't even know where she is, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know where the hell she's gone, dude. She's just gone.
I mean, she's been the Queen's agent, right? So she's doing something for Mara. What, where, when, we're not privy to.
Her hidden friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely love to see Eris come back, but that should go without saying.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Yeah. Critbuff, shut up.
I got My Chemical Romance ready for you if you want.
I swear to God.
Look, when I was a boy, my father took me to the Black Parade.
You took the ball and ran with it.
Jebby13 has a trilogy of questions. He's the Nim of our stream. Question. What do you think about Cade's Vanguard Dare and that making Uldren the prime successor?
The Vanguard don't know Uldren's alive, do they?
No, they don't. Well, I mean, nobody knows. But it does.
But I don't think they would anyway.
Does the dare take effect if the recipient wasn't a Guardian to be like? That's again, the Vanguard's a paramilitary organization, and the dare is cute. But if I'm Savala and I'm the commander, and some blueberry walks in saying I'm the Hunter Vanguard, and I'm like, that's cute. You can join as a private, sit over there and do what you're told to do, and then the real guys.
The Vanguard Dare just seems like it's a hunter thing, right? Just because like nobody wants to do it, and somebody has to. So suck it up, cowboy. You're coming into the field or coming into the office.
This is like when Starfleet promoted Kirk from cadet to captain of a ship with the reboot movie, and I just lost my mind. I'm like, you don't go from cadet to 06. That's not how it works. That's not how
in fiction, it can, I guess. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's what a lot of people calling Uldren a Guardian as well is kind of not correct.
He's a light bearer.
He's a light bearer. Yeah. He's a light bearer. He's not a Guardian.
Yeah. Like, yet. That we know of.
We know of.
Drifter. What is he?
He's got a light bearer.
But see, the Drifter comes from a time when there wasn't Warlocks, there wasn't Hunters, there wasn't Titans. They were just called Risen. And this was before the Warlords as well. So the Drifter doesn't really fall into any of those categories. as far as how they exist nowadays. He dresses like a warlock, but we don't know how he channels his ability.
I don't think
I
we
think
can
in
talk
lore
about
he's
it on
actually
Twitch.
labeled as.
I mean, people see him as, I guess, kind of a hunter because of, I don't know, for some reason, but we don't. He's just a risen. He's a rogue
Yeah.
laborer. He doesn't
I think
have a
it-
classification like that.
Interesting.
His class is listed as multi. I think, and the Praxic Order classifies him as multi.
Yeah, because I
So-
mean, they've seen him or like disguised as a warlock, but they don't
Yeah.
really know what he
Well,
is.
Didn't it used to be that that classes were a bit more fluid back in the day, where
He's classified.
There was no separation. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, that multi makes sense in that regard. Like
Yeah.
if you're old enough, you can kind of like do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and remember, classes are a function of design.
Yeah.
We have classes because Bungie needs to be able to
Right.
give you a lane to stick in. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Next question from Jebby: how mad would y'all be if we got the same armor for Festival of Heroes or Solstice of Heroes?
I wouldn't be mad. I like that armor. That armor is
It's good looking armor.
pretty as shit.
It makes
I'm just
me wish
mad that like I grinded so many hours for it and I can't use it.
Oh yeah. Oof. That was
Like I'd be fine if they brought the exact same armor going forward. I already have all of the ornaments. They can all light up super pretty. I just give me my rolls on them, man.
yeah.
You have no reason to get it back unless you're leveling up a character really quick.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, same. Delete message there.
Crit, Jarv.
Jarv, you go first, please.
On Solstice stuff, I'm still two of my characters are still wearing it, like my my Titan and my Hunter, and they're still wearing it. Yeah, I think they definitely need to bring that type of armor back. I think when they added the ornaments to the Revelry, I think taking them away or having them limited to that event was a bit of a missed opportunity. So
Yeah.
I think they've been quite vocal on Twitter about, or asking us what we want from armor and stuff. And obviously the Crota armor comes up, the ornamentation, the old Vogue armor and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's anywhere near that, or
Mhm.
they take some influences from that, then they're onto a good thing.
I mean, we saw them do something amazing with the Revelry ornaments.
Mm.
It's
Yeah,
a matter that they didn't stick through.
Yeah.
yeah. So as long as what we
Yeah.
get and earn, because it would be earnable, right? So anything that we earn that we keep, and if it's anywhere near as good as some of those pieces, then we're good.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any of the ornaments that's been in D2 have really been on the same level as the stuff we saw in D1 when you look at the Trials
Yeah.
gear and the raid gear and stuff.
Ooh, the raid gear. Yeah, we talked about that bit last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
All
the last little bit I would add is I don't feel like the juice was worth the squeeze when we got the.
It was worth for
everything,
30
the
minutes.
masterwork. Yeah, like that would be my last bit of it. Make it feel like my time was respected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. The third and final question from Jebby. What if they brought a raid that sent you back to the Battle of Six Fronts and you got to meet all the Guardians that saved the city for the first time?
That'd be cool.
It would be
I'd be all
interesting.
for that. Yeah.
A la Caverns of Time and World of Warcraft. That would be neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, in any sort of activity that would give us more of a visual to some of the lore stuff that we've seen in the Grimoire cards or the Books of Sorrow and stuff like that, I'll be all for that, because it opens it up to more people that don't really invest in it or take the time to read it in the collections page.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see Anna Bray use her golden gun that the light still persists to this day from when she used it there in that fight.
Yeah.
You can see those copies of Osiris, possibly from his shenanigans flying around everywhere. You can see Shaxx disobey Saladin.
Mm-hmm.
Be like
I think-
Destiny's Saving Private Ryan moment, right? Just like
Yeah.
I see it more as a cutscene than something to play through, though. You
That'd be
know?
cool if it was a cutscene, but
yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds fun, but I don't know. I think you could tell that story a little quicker.
Through a cutscene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh. Who knows? Who knows?
Next question.
Grabby asks, here's a question. Is Trials really dead forever? And if you've listened to about 4 or 5, maybe 10 of the past several episodes, probably.
How much time do we have? Nah, I'm joking.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. But no, we have talked about it as being something that's probably not going to come back in D2, if we're being honest with ourselves.
We would have heard about it, I think, by now for D2. I think Bungie appreciate that the game needs a pinnacle PvP, like competitive activity outside comp.
Yeah.
Whether it be Trials, we're not in D2, I think.
Yeah. I think a lot of the people that want it to come back want it a different way than what Crucible is right now. That would take a huge overhaul. So I would expect that it would be with a new game coming out. That would make the most sense to me.
How long were they working on Gambit? Because again, we have to consider real life factors here, development time. How long were they working on Gambit? Forever, right? Like since D1, actually, technically, I think towards the end.
I can't remember what they said in that interview with the Crucible Radio boys.
Yeah,
but
it takes time, and that's the other thing we have to consider. Bungie has a lot on the plate. They just split from Activision. Resources might be a little bit scarcer than they're used to. Personnel changes are happening. Yeah, you have to take a look at the meta of the real life of Bungie and their day-to-day operations and everything like that, and you have to consider, is it plausible or feasible for them to be pouring resources into the new Trials mode right now?
Yeah,
I mean, they've gone out and spoken about it before that, they're not abandoning the Crucible and stuff like that. It's just they have a different plan for it, a different vision of it. So whatever that is, it's just not ready for us to know about. And given the original success of Trials of Osiris, it would be crazy to think of them to just leave that all behind. Like they want to, because I mean they pushed out a new version of Trials, didn't work out. It didn't have the same appeal as the original one, so gonna go into the back burner, and hopefully whenever we see it again, it'll attract that same attention that the Trials of Osiris brought forward.
Bring back the boons too. Let casual people come in and come away with something, right?
Yeah,
they were still
if you want to help,
they?
I forget honestly. It's you can get you can get the trial stuff from your clan engrams for your clan mates going and doing it. But the thing is, if you want a healthy population, like what's the problem with the populations in the playlist right now, right? People got their recluse right away and then they bow out. So who's left in there? Recovery accounts, your dire. That's why every match of quick play feels like a 5,500 comp match. Because at least for me it does. But allowing a means for the casual player to come in and walk away with something, I think is also going to be critical to that whole experience.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time we got a Crucible map?
10 years ago.
I mean, whatever
Equinox?
we get, whenever we get it, I think.
Yeah.
Because of how long it's been since we've got anything Crucible related, other than sandbox changes and weapons, which probably isn't handled directly by the Crucible team per se.
Forsaken's launch, I think, with Equinox was the last new map.
Yeah, so anything that we get, I imagine, would be a bit of an overhaul we have now.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're gonna eventually see like an update dedicated on Crucible, because I mean it's been a good while since we've had any proper kind of update on Crucible or Crucible Labs, whatever happened with that. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and Bungie know how to do PvP. Be it back in Halo, they were nailing it back then, so they know what they need to do.
Doommaster asks, Planet Destiny, how can a person seek help for 0 Hour to get the catalyst? There are several LFG sites. The 100.io is one. The Bungie forums have an LFG. The Bungie app has an LFG.
Xbox has one built in. Link.
Yeah. If you join our Discord, !Discord in chat, there are several people who are helpful there. You got Bo Solaris in chat. You got all sorts. You got all sorts of folks who can help out. Yeah, stay tuned also to our Twitch channel over the next couple weeks. We have some very exciting people coming in. So that was Doommester, Doomester, Bo. But yeah,
And if you tweet to me or any one of the other members, I'm sure we'll also retweet. I can't speak for everyone else, but we will retweet your name out there and help get your name out there looking for help. And I'm sure people will jump on that to help each other out. That's the great thing about this community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bo Solaris, a member of our Twitch team, asks, expanding on what the Drifter said in wanting new content, what do you guys think of the Infinite Forest giving us the possibility of playing historical missions, Battle of the Six Fronts, Twilight Gap, etc.?
Did we go through this one already or no?
Yeah, we did that one. I'm sorry, I didn't read through it before getting to Jebby's, but sounds cool. Probably could tell it in like a cutscene though.
Any missions that are like the Saint 14 mission where you actually go back in, to the past and discover something is cool.
Yeah.
So any missions around those would be sweet. I'll take that.
Historical mission, like you show up to somebody and they're like, I remember, and then like it takes you back. Like that's cool, but I wouldn't know.
I mean, we know from the narrative previews that ghosts have, the ability to record stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure again, if time and people and resources were, plenty to go around, there could be like some kind of like index of where you can still maybe like see cutscenes of stuff like that have been recorded or saved from ghosts feeds and stuff like that. So again, it's just a time and resources type of thing that like, and scale of importance, a lot of that stuff has been talked about in the past already. So,
Yeah.
What if in a perfect world, if you're a hunter and you queue up for the mission, you're Anna Bray. If you're a warlock and you queue up for it, you're Osiris. And if you're a Titan, you're Shax. That would be kind of neat, don't you think?
Yeah.
You go and you live out their parts of it.
Yeah. Like Black Link and Bo are now brainstorming this in chat. They're saying have it play out like missions where you get your subclasses with audio logs made out of light constructs. And Bo's like, meditations are proof that it'll fit into lore. Yeah, I mean like the Zer bounties. Have it play out something like that. Yeah, I could see that. Like, it's a different thing than I think than just missions, but it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Last question.
Play out the lore. That'd be sweet.
Heck yeah. Last question of the evening from the Black Link. We miss you, BB. So, if we were to pretend that Bungie is starting a trend here with Outbreak Perfected to bring back old raid exotics, say moving in the reverse order in which they came out, how would you like to see stuff like Touch of Malice, Vex Mythoclast, Necrochasm brought forward? With what abilities?
Oh,
that's a loaded one, isn't it? That's a give me a minute.
That's a question right there.
That's a good question, to be honest.
I have a feeling that's a good question. I mean, and I've talked about this with people beforehand. A lot of that stuff has to fit in thematically. So, and Outbreak Perfected, I didn't think it was something that we were going to see because it just didn't really fit in thematically. So we don't know what else they're going to do with Siva or whatnot. But
here's a Necrochasm one. Every time you use it and kill someone, Nem smiles.
I mean, that happens regardless.
Doesn't matter if he's logged in. If he's asleep and you kill someone, Nem's like.
What about if kills increase the rate of fire and reload a portion of your magazine?
Yeah.
I remember it had something. It had Cascade, which was Grave Robber. Is now known as Grave Robber. where melee kills give you a portion of the magazine back. If I were to ever see the Necrochasm come back, I don't know, man. That Cursed Thrall explosion was pretty tasty. Man, what could you do to that to make it even better?
Add
I don't
mods
know,
to
dude.
it.
Add bonds. Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe like leave green soulfire behind a Cursed Thrall explosion.
Does burn damage to other enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, area of effect.
Yeah, an area of
Yeah.
effect.
Blow one up and then it starts burning off the shields of the others.
Maybe leave a little soulfire patch on the ground, a la the bottom tree Sunbreaker thing, where you stand in it and
Yeah.
you get Sun Warrior. Something like, I don't know. Doesn't have to be
Yeah.
exactly that. But
I'd be about that, dude.
Yeah, definitely not nerf it. No way.
RCA Gandhi kind of makes a good point about Touch of Malice. Like, it was really kind of only good for one battle. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it, like, I don't know what you could do to it to make it more utilitarian.
It's a risk reward weapon, but
Yeah.
I think outside that encounter, its uses were quite limited.
well, there's something else to consider now. Warlocks can self heal.
Yeah.
So in their hands, if they're in their Well of Radiance with that bad boy, now it's empowered.
Just
now they're
devour.
healing through any damage they do. Yeah.
Just use Devour and just keep killing things. You don't have
Yeah.
to worry
Man, I'll
about
tell
it.
you what though. I used to take Touch of Malice into the Crucible with a Titan, using what was it? Weapons of Light. It's tasty, dude. It's tasty.
You have no soul.
Great.
So an interesting thing they've done with all the returning or D1 exotics, Thorn is back and it can 2-tap if, right? Like
Yeah.
if this, then that. So they're coming back in a tip of the hat to what they used to be, but
I
they're
don't
not
know, man.
immediately.
Perfected is something much better than what it used to be.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, like
Vex Mythoclast, I mean, they could revert that back to OG D1 on the basis of something, I don't know. Get a kill and it leaves a little oracle that hangs around. Grab
See,
that thing.
for Vex Mythoclast, I always and this is something that I always envisioned it to play like in whatchamacallit, in D1, because it largely resembles a kind of like a wire rifle
Yeah.
that the Vex have. So imagine having it kind of almost like Queen Breaker in a sense, where like let's say if you're hip firing the Vex Mythoclast, it fires like a full auto, like an auto rifle as it should. But
Yeah.
when you aim down the sights, it
Ooh.
acts like the wire rifle, where it charges the one bolt and then it transforms into a linear.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
like a delayed shot, but it's got
Yeah.
increased damage. Yeah.
Like it does a little charge and zzz.
Which
Like,
slot
that'd
would
be
that be in?
sick. Man, that would be why I would say
It's elemental. Yeah, it's got to be elemental,
it's
right?
solo, yeah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a special.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. That's a little interesting.
Yeah. Ammo's common enough that you could use it, but it's not so crazy that you're one-shotting everyone in the Crucible. Or maybe, well, I mean, it could one-shot if you do the aim down sights thing like Nem is saying. Right.
but then it like uses like most of your magazine, for example.
It uses your 2-shot equivalent, right? Because you get 2
Yeah.
snipes, 2 shotguns. It uses both for that one shot when you spawn.
Yeah, like almost an Izanagi's type of thing, where it uses all the ammo in your magazine to use that one shot. That way you can't really spam, the linear.
Mm.
Yeah.
It'd be sick.
That's-
I want it and I'm sad.
That's interesting.
In
I
terms
think
of
you
how
just-
they'd be brought forward, though, I think
Yeah.
any mission, anything like 0 hour in a.
Oh
in a-
yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
such a
Yeah.
better way of bringing stuff forward. 100%. Those types
Yeah.
of missions.
Like the Thorn Quest was great. I think that strike can go die in a fire elementally.
Yeah.
No, okay, my biggest problem with that, those thralls are like double dipping. 1, blackout, so Swipey Boy is now super Swipey Boy.
Mm-hmm.
2, Thrall melee strikes count as arc damage, so they're getting the bonus modifier from Elementalist or whatever, or Dangerous Elements.
Yeah.
So that strike.
Imagine
0 hour in Vogue.
Imagine kind of like a choose your own adventure thing with this, where it's like for the first half of the mission, it's completely the same mechanics, but then you throw in like different branches off that lock you out of the other two. Where at the end you get like one of these rewards.
That'd be interesting, dude.
That also just gave me an idea. What if you have an Outbreak perfected style mission, but at one point the fire team has to split up on 3 different paths?
Mm-hmm.
So Nem goes that way, Jarv goes that way, you go that way, Dan. And you
Yeah.
all have things to do.
That'd be awesome.
I can dig that. I can dig on that.
And of course, strats would evolve from that, right? Like you always want a hunter going down middle, you always want a warlock going right because they're best for this and that. And then you want to, this titan to do that over there. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I want it.
You can make the cash payable to Critbuff.
Yeah. Here's my PayPal and my Venmo.
You're welcome. Adam, if you're watching this, you're welcome.
Oh, well, all right. I think that covers
That's
the
it.
questions from chat from this week. A lot of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Put my ass to think, dude. Oh, man. Well, I think that about wraps up episode 199 of the Planet Destiny podcast, wouldn't you say?
I think so.
Sick. Now, before we go ahead and close out the episode, we have a very special 200th episode coming up real soon. And
is that next week? I think if numbers work, I believe that's next week.
that's
Quick
next
math.
week. Yeah, quick
199.
American Public
quick maths.
System at work right there. For the,
Yeah.
But you know, there's been a question that has
Okay.
floated around the Planet Destiny community for a really, 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 really long time.
Will there be balloons?
I mean, if you are bringing balloons, Dan, then there's going to be balloons.
Okay.
Will there be pizza?
If you bring
Better
pizza,
question.
then yes,
Here's one. Will my wife let me go?
maybe. So 200th big question: where's Tefty? Well,
Oh shit.
we found him.
We did?
We found Tefty. So if you want to be a part of the Planet Destiny 200th episode, stay tuned so you can see where Tefty's going to be. So, with that being said, on that closing note, on that closing
Nem's
note,
basement tied up.
It's just it's just gonna be me in a Tefty mask.
You're gonna buy a beard.
Oh,
at,
hey,
a dollar
guys!
store or something.
I'm shorter than you expect.
Put a Snapchat filter on. No one will know.
And a
Oh,
gluten-free
man, so-
t-shirt. You say that.
so yeah, really, really awesome episode coming next week. Stay tuned; it's going to be fantastic. So come on over next Sunday, and it's going to be a really, really good time. And on that closing note, Critbuff, where can these fine people find you in the corners of the internet?
No pressure, right? So you can find me on Twitter at Critbuff. Just do a search there. And then on Twitch, I am Dredgen_Critbuff because some jerk stole Critbuff before I could get it. And then, of course, you'll find my videos for PD on YouTube. So just stay tuned for those.
Beautiful. Mr. Jarv, where you
Yes.
at, bud?
I'm Jarvenis pretty much everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, but primarily my trade is applied on YouTube. So Jarvenis on YouTube, or if you just search Jarv Destiny, I'll come up. And I also have some contributions for Planet Destiny with the Void configuration more recently. And with Opulence, I'm sure there'll be plenty more guides to make, so keep an eye out for those.
Beautiful. And Dan Flannelty.
Oh, hi. My name's
Howdy,
Dan
where are you?
Infinity. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/DanFinity. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dan Flannelty. Danfinity, but the I's are L's. You can also find my other podcast, Side Quest Sunday, which just started back up. We're on episode 2. I interviewed Cyborg Sasquatch from Destiny Reset podcast this week. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me.
Beautiful. And as you know, you can find me at NemPlays everywhere on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Actually, before I go, quick plug-in. I actually made this pretty cool video because of 0 Hour, and kind of I wanted to play onto the nostalgia side of things. I can see Dan is probably looking for it like right
Shut
now.
up, Nim. I'm not trying to play you.
So if you haven't seen it yet, because quite a few people from the community managed to watch it, and I got some pretty positive feedback on it. I'm pretty proud of it. I typically don't tend to kind of like toot my own horn on things like that, but I was really happy how it turned out. So if you guys are interested, I believe Dan will have it to you shortly.
I'm still looking. Hold on. All right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, like a lot of people really liked it. And again, it was one of those things that kind of happened at the last minute. There we go. It's in chat. It was something that I really wanted to do the moment that I saw where 0 Hour took place, and I think it turned out pretty cool. So that's a V, Dan.
I know. I had to put a card in there. Is that going to be up on the Bungie creation page?
It was submitted to it. I'm still waiting to see if it gets accepted.
Sweet.
So hopefully, if it does manage to go on there, I could maybe try to get it as a movie of the week. It definitely got a lot of attention over the weekend when I made it. So I'm pretty stoked that people really enjoyed it. So yeah, there it is. It's called "Thank You for the Memories." But
Stop stealing all the emblems, man. You already have it.
look, man, I feel like I have
Greedy.
earned this one. All right.
Greedy.
We
This
should do a
guy.
PD. We should do a PD one, man.
We
do
should.
the whole,
Yeah.
the whole team.
Yeah.
Get all of us the emblem. Get
That way-
everybody the emblem.
When we
Yeah.
do Gambit together, we could be that team that's got the same emblem, you know.
Same the
shit.
banditos roll out.
Yeah, exactly. We can be those guys.
All right. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching episode 189 of the Planet Destiny podcast, and we'll catch you next time. Bye, everybody.